In this video, we are going to investigate the surprising effect that this stuff, dirt, has on these things, our bicycle chains. A bicycle chain undergoes approximately 40,000 articulations per minute. As it moves through your derailleur and around your gears, each chain link articulation creates friction, which can slow you down. Then add dirt into that mix, and well, dirt and just about anything that your bike can pick up. And I mean, we all get caught in the rain, we ride out on dirt roads, or even both at the same time, and your chain gets dirty. And then you don't clean your bike for weeks, months, years? That might be an exaggeration, but that dirty chain isn't just a minor annoyance, it's a silent thief, stealing your precious energy, speed, and money. So how much energy and money? It will surprise you, but here's the twist. Your lubricant also matters. So I've investigated by looking at some lab tests, and of course, no investigation on chains is complete without discussing waxing. Is it worth the extra effort, or are traditional lubricants enough to save us from unnecessary wear and tear on our bikes? First, let's talk about performance. A clean, lubricated chain runs at around 97% efficiency, meaning 97% of your pedaling power is effectively transferred into your rear wheel and onto the road. And efficiency is really what cyclists are all about. A higher efficiency means that you're not wasting effort and power that you put into the pedals, and it's driving the bike forward. Contrast this with a dirty chain, which can drop efficiency to as low as 89.6%. So you're losing significant power to friction, making every pedal stroke harder. So dirt, grit, and grime caught in the chain act like tiny abrasives, grinding away at the metal surfaces and increasing resistance. Think of it like this. A clean, lubricated chain is like a smoothly running sports car on a freshly paved road. A dirty chain is taking that same car through a muddy, potholed path. It's sluggish, requires more effort, and you're not getting the full performance. And now let's already talk about wax chains. Wax chains maintain their efficiency remarkably well, even under harsh conditions, and according to zero friction cycling, a waxed chain and clean chain can reach 98.5% efficiency. To see what this looks like across different scenarios, we have some mixed data from friction facts and zero friction cycling. And the numbers are pretty obvious that a waxed and clean chain, 98.5%, a clean and lubed chain, 97.6%, rainy and lubed, 94.8%, wet, muddy and lubed, 94.4%, dry, muddy and lubed, 92.8%, and no lubricant, 89.6%. In a clean state, a waxed chain operates at the highest efficiency. But even when comparing clean, lube chains and dirty chains, the drop in efficiency tells me to clean my bike. Now, let's translate that into energy costs. With a clean chain, you would expect that you maximize your energy, and you would be right. A dirty chain means you're working harder for less. The increased friction from dirt and grime saps your energy. Using wax chains further improves energy efficiency by reducing friction, resulting in less energy loss. But what does this look like in practice? Here are some numbers that give you an idea of the speed differences at two different powers, 250 watts and 150 watts. Waxed and clean, clean and lubed, rainy and lubed, wet, muddy and lubed, dry, muddy and lubed, no lubricant. And you can see that even a small decrease in efficiency leads to a noticeable drop in speed. At 250 watts, a waxed and clean chain allows you to maintain 31.7 kilometers an hour. A dirty chain slows you down, cutting your speed by up to 1.17 kilometers per hour. For a rider at 150 watts, the impact is even more pronounced. And say you're on a 100-kilometer ride in your endurance zone at 150 watts. At 25 kilometers an hour, with a waxed and clean chain, it'll take 4 hours to ride, or 24.07 kilometers an hour with a dry and lubed chain. It will take you approximately 4 hours and 15 minutes to complete the same distance. Now, let's break down the monetary costs. Maintaining a clean chain means replacing it every 2,400 to 4,800 kilometers, costing about $40 per chain. This regular maintenance ensures the longevity of your entire drive chain. A dirty chain wears out faster, needing replacement every 1,200 to 2,400 kilometers, and this increases your costs as you'll be buying chains more frequently Additionally, the increased wear on the cassette and chain rings means these components will also need to be replaced more often. Clean chains help cassettes last 4,800 to 8,000 kilometers, costing around $100. With a dirty chain, cassettes wear out every 3,000 to 4,000 kilometers, significantly increasing your expenses. Chain rings last 8,000 to 16,000 kilometers. With a clean chain, averaging $100 every 2.5 years, a dirty chain requires more frequent replacements, wearing out chain rings every 5,000 to 8,000 kilometers. According to Zero Friction Cycling, waxed chains can last up to 15,000 kilometers before significant wear, compared to much shorter intervals for traditional chains. And this extended lifespan translates to fewer replacements and lower overall maintenance costs. So take a look at the cost breakdown. If Zero Friction Cycling is right, using waxed chains can save you hundreds of dollars annually. The protective barrier created by the wax prevents dirt from sticking to the chain, keeping it cleaner and running smoother for longer periods. The savings come down to this. Traditional lubricant annual cost $310 to $460. Wax chain annual cost $150 to $300. So the cost difference is $160 to $310 per year. Yay! So what's the conclusion? Declaring a winner. So throughout this investigation, we've seen the stark contrasts between clean, dirty, and wax chains. The savings in energy performance are not as big as I thought they would be. And that's the surprise, because the cost is probably the thing that would tip me over the edge towards wax, even if I first have to spend up on the extra stuff needed to do it properly. And it looks like I would make this back in the first year. But here's another surprise. While your chain maintenance is crucial, it's not the only factor that affects your ride. Things like aerodynamics and tire pressure can have an even greater impact on your performance. So while keeping your chain clean and well maintained is essential, don't forget to pay attention to these factors as well. And while we're on efficiency, when to ride in the saddle and when to ride out of the saddle, plus your technique when you're out of the saddle, plays a big role in saving your energy and maximizing your performance on the bike. To learn all about the best times to ride out of the saddle and how to do it efficiently, click here so that you can maximize your cycling performance and enjoyment.